Hey, welcome to City Commission for August, and please enjoy.
Hello.
It's got a cute little intro.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was an older phone number. What's the, it doesn't, I don't know. Dennis was just pointing out.
The address. We're running down the street.
The 830
Oh,
number is.
that rings my phone.
Yeah, it's one of those.
But the 323 is better.
323, yeah,
It's Kingsbury.
it's Kingsbury number.
Okay.
323 Kingsbury, yes.
All right.
It was the
Sometimes I'll
address,
use
not
an
the
older
phone number. I was
template
looking at.
that has the older phone number.
Yeah, it comes up
Probably
with that
should have
number.
got the phone.
Yeah, 32 Kingsbury will ring the phone.
Sorry, Jessica.
All right, we'll go ahead and,
Good seeing
oh,
Oh, yeah.
and we'll call this meeting to order. Well, we'll do our pledges to the flags.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, we'll do a roll call.
Commissioner Ignatius,
Here.
Commissioner Heinemeier,
Here.
Mayor Noel.
Here. All right, we can call this meeting to order. Announcements, I just have the check report. Why is there something on my paper there? This is August 19th, yes. And there's a couple of things that, as always, the actual checking account is kind of a eye chart. Here's some more if anybody wants one. I can see I was running out of ink on the green. One thing on here, just FYI, we got our mixed beverage tax receipts in July 19th. We got sales tax, $3,051.73. And then we got, and another one came in, it just happened because of the timing. We got another mixed beverage tax receipts just last week. And then GVC and Blue Bonnet, those are the franchise fees for Q2 and Q2 of 2024. What made me pause there is I know that the sales tax was for Q2, was for June and Q2. So it's one of those where it's payers that pay in quarterly, they will come out in June. Some of the things that I have here that need either clarification or we'll have to clarify later. On Wix.com, which is the one that for all of our emails and websites and domains, the bill came in for $922, which is much more than it has been in the past. And I just saw it came in like Thursday, and I was gone for the weekend, so that I will have to investigate a little bit because.
What is it usually?
That's way over, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's way
Extremely.
over.
Yeah.
It's usually like
And there's-
$475 or something.
I mean, there's plenty of other, I know, it'd be
Yeah.
pain to put it over on
Yeah.
another, but actually there's even sites that can take it from Wix to their site
Yeah.
automatically,
Well,
so.
like I said,
should-
what we have through them is domains
Yeah.
and emails and and a lot of stuff. So, so that I have to investigate and see what the deal was with that. Is that did it get renewed for multiple years?
Oh, maybe.
You know, maybe. The other things are the Seguin Gazette. Jessica, I was going to ask you, I'm sure one was for public hearing, and then there's two more. What were those?
Those were for the RFPs for the 2 grants.
Okay, so this one is probably, so it's, so one I figured was public hearing. Okay, and I'll update these and make sure I get these in the right. They all fall under, as far as a category under the budget, they all fall under newspaper notice fees. So I just want to make sure that I get what they are. RFP. Friends. Okay, good. And nothing else too much. Total in all of $218,416.69. All right, good. Other announcements that may not be on the item here, just FYI, COVID is going around again. There have been we've gotten notified of some businesses that have gotten COVID in the office, and we were deciding whether to shut down the store or do a deep clean, but you still got people coming through, so just like daily wash down hands. So just FYI, COVID's kind of going through again, so it's just
Wash your hands.
be careful, wash your hands, be careful of people being around people too closely, I guess, and it's unfortunately, you would think in the summer when we're all outside it's not going to be too bad, but it is. It does seem to be going around again. Other things going on, a couple of things, but I don't have anything else. Anything? Announcements? All right.
Well, I mean, the September full moon, I guess, yeah, because that's going to be before the next meeting. It's going to be in downtown at Will's place, so hopefully it'll be a community potluck. And
Do you remember the date?
I think it's like a Wednesday. Let me look. I think it's the 17th, Tuesday or Wednesday. But yeah, so if you guys are hungry and you want to come down and meet people.
So will it be a market also, or is it just a full moon dinner? Not just. Is it a full moon dinner or a full moon dinner
It's a
and
full moon
market?
dinner for sure. I don't know if we're going to do a market just because we'll have to see everybody's
Right.
energy levels. But if people, usually Ranch Brand Wines comes and they set up a little booth so people can buy wines by the glass. Or they'll go over to your place and get wine or beer. I'm just gonna, you guys might as well make money too. And then we just invite people to bring whatever they're gonna bring. Like if they're gonna bring, they're welcome to bring. I think Will's gonna do burgers, so he'll have grilled burgers. People can bring sides, but I'll put it all in an announcement. Also, Fall Harvest to anybody out there on the Facebook world. Yes, we have not sent out anything for Fall Harvest yet, so sorry. I've been busy writing the Our Town grant, but I will get it out before the end of the. I know. Usually, I send out the announcement for the vendors by now, so I know we're a little late on that, but
I think it's going to be November 9th.
yeah, second Saturday in November, same as the Aerodrome.
And because I know I went through the Master Gardeners meeting last week with Washington County, and they were asking about the Kingsbury Fall Fest.
A few people have reached out. And I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. I literally was locked in a room. Shane was bringing me food while I was writing this crazy grant. So hopefully we get it.
Just one more announcement. National Night Out. Still planning on having National Night Out.
Oh, yeah.
I'll reach out to the sheriff's office.
What date is
on that? That's always the first for Texas. It's the first Tuesday in October, which is October 1st this year. So the sheriff's office has been a little slow in getting with us. Not the last time, but a couple of times before. So we'll try and get things going early, and so it won't be kind of behind the eight ball on that. Although we do our own thing. So So yeah, the rest of the states do it pretty much in August, but August is, just a little too hot in Texas, so ours is October 1st, so that's on the calendar. All right, public comments. Item number 2, anything?
I have heard from other people because I don't do Facebook or I don't do electronics, but the upcoming events, they said that the Lutheran Church's Fellowship Night is on it. This meeting is calendar, the city calendar. Evidently, they're not changing pages and understanding.
They don't know how to go from one calendar to the next.
1 month to the next.
I don't know if it's 1 month to the next.
So all 12
Oh, on
months are.
Facebook, you're saying. On Facebook, it's not it's not updating the new calendar somehow.
I was sorry that I assumed, no, the person that said something about it he said he saw it on Facebook. In other words, he didn't go to the city website, the Facebook.
I don't think that there is a calendar on Facebook. The
But-
only calendar
But
is on.
events and things in Kingsbury.
Oh, individual.
Somebody looked on the city's website first? You don't know?
You probably didn't.
Let me double check the Facebook page and see if the fellowship is on there, because it is on the city calendar. On the Kingsbury.
Somebody noticed it, but they're asking me.
Yeah.
did that. I can tell you what,
Let
I
me
am
make a note
personally-
and I'll make sure that I get that on there.
and did mention your name specifically, the mayor.
Oh.
posted or whatever.
Mayor
Yeah.
extraordinaire, who
Yeah.
not only is a mayor, but is a Facebook post and the newsletter.
Yeah, and fellowship.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute, I'm not the mayor.
I mean, it's just, we all wear many hats here.
Yes,
some more
we
than
all wear
others.
many hats. So I'll make sure I do that, add the fellowship to
It's
the
actually somebody
Facebook.
Does not live in the area, but is definitely a part of.
We're back on.
We're live.
You missed some really exciting meetings.
That's where you need to add a little graphic later.
No,
Yeah.
Technical difficulties.
No replay, sorry.
Yeah. All right. Item number 4, old business consent agenda item. This is the approval of the July 15th. My lips are still smacking. July 15th, 2024 regular commission meeting minutes. Is there any reason to move those minutes from the consent agenda to the regular agenda?
No, ma'am.
All right, they will stand approved. Item number 5, recess regular commission meeting. At this point, we'll call to order our public hearing. And discussion is the 2024-2025 city budget. I have items here, and I did double check and verify that if there's any changes that we make this evening, that it is, that's okay. There's no need to have another public hearing or post it or anything, as long as we make these changes in a public hearing.
Okay.
Because I know in some of our discussions, we have no items for grants as far as revenues. However, that's such an unknown that it probably is not something that we can accurately or even estimate
I
or
wonder what
guess.
other cities do.
They probably have, more grants in the pipeline that
That's
they
true.
can there.
Yeah.
So until we get our pipeline going.
Yes.
It's
not in our
hard.
When
hand.
we get our
We don't
pipeline
have-
going.
Yeah, yeah.
Not in our hand, in the
Yeah.
bank, we don't have it.
Yeah.
One of, well, I'll have to see about this technology thing, which includes that, I did not include that at the run it rate at 922 from Wix. So I don't have that on here, but, I feel like maybe we should bump up technology. It's
Where is it?
here,
It's under expense.
it's this, maybe I should have numbered these. That would have been a good idea.
I see.
Yeah, technology
Yeah, well,
slash city websites.
Yes.
So right now I have it at 750. Our run it rate is what, 508? We kind of left it at 750, but now when that 922
Yeah,
came
I
in,
think-
I kind of feel like, you know, that should be bumped up.
Yeah.
Just, you know, and maybe it won't add up to that much, but at least it will be in the budget.
So you think that 922 might be an accurate figure? We don't really know?
I don't really know. If it is accurate, it may be for multi-year.
Yeah.
I would say let's just wait and see what we have for sure.
Okay,
rather than
well, we
bump
can't
it up.
update the budget after tonight.
Huh? Yeah.
So it's the last
Okay.
night. Or we
So,
can?
I mean, it
It's a
doesn't hurt.
budget. It's a budget.
It's a budget.
It's not a
It doesn't
promise.
hurt to update it. I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't hurt to bump up the number
Okay.
and, so that we can, ensure that it's covered, whatever comes in is covered.
Yeah.
I'm, just make it 1,500. That does include all of the 922, but
If we make it 1,500 and it goes to 1,400, is that going to negate investigating other options because we have the money budgeted already? You know?
no.
Okay.
No, it wouldn't.
It was okay.
I don't know. Any thoughts on that one?
I mean, I don't see how it would, because if it's not spent, it'll just go into the general and then next year.
Yeah,
It's budgeted
it's
somewhere
not gonna
else.
go away if we don't use
Yeah.
it, so,
So, yeah, whatever's left over at the end of the year then goes into the next year's budget,
okay.
which then we could gauge how much things cost.
Right.
Okay.
Let's see, so that was one thing. The other thing was, mailers. If we're going to do more mailers.
Yes, I think we should.
We do have a line item for, that we have typically had money in, let's see, blah, 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 mayor expenses, I know there's an item here, hold on.
Would it be USPS or something?
No, it actually was an item, information mailouts and postage.
I think that, I mean, the last development meeting, everybody was saying how wildly successful that mailer was for the coffee get-together, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need our city's input right now, and especially as we go through all of
Right.
this planning.
So,
it's-
right now, we had budgeted last year, we had budgeted 125. We've already spent 742 this year. So, we had bumped it up to 800, from 400 to 800. Our run it rate is 851. But we did bump it up at least to 800.
I'm sorry, I cannot find it.
It's, right.
Okay.
I know now,
No.
I'm learning.
Okay,
I
I
do
see it.
learn
I see it.
that I
Information
need to
mailouts.
number the items. And there's a lot of items on here that we typically have not had anything on, but I always feel like it's not a bad idea to leave those on here as a note to self that this, is something that, in other cities, it is, an item. And so it is just a placeholder for things that may come along.
Yeah.
All right.
I'd be comfortable bumping that up to 1,500.
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah, because I think we'd use
We're gonna
more
need
than that.
more mail outs.
I think we'll use more than,
Okay.
or want more than that.
I'm
but-
down with that too.
I mean,
down
we
with
have,
that.
it's very successful, it's very effective, and we need a lot more of what that was,
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah.
All right. Now, the other thing that we don't have on here is anything that may come in the coming year regarding paying our own electric, paying our own water, paying our own utilities. That may be, if that's something that comes about, that may be a modification to the budget at some point in the year. So there's no way to really guesstimate any of that right now. So
No.
And we do have National Night Out on here. Good. All right. Those were the items that I wanted to just bring up and point out.
Yep.
And like I said, it's okay to go ahead and update any of these values as long as we do it in the public hearing. Anything else there that may need, of course, the blue is what we've proposed.
So Allison, I think the last time we talked about the budget in here, you mentioned
The festivals?
the festivals.
I did, and I don't know how you guys feel about that. I mean, 500, I don't even think pays for the porta potties, you know, so, yeah, I guess it depends on, can the city at least pay for the porta potties, or, you know, do we have to figure that out for ourselves? I think it should at least pay for that, because it's pretty important. How much did you spend last time? And you didn't, I mean, a bit, like, I think Shirley footed the bill for it, which it's not really fair. Like, she's a private business, you know, I mean, it's.
So could you put that
It depends on what you, you know, if you get how many and washing station, which your washing
I
station
think we need
is
washing
important.
stations.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
once you get all that, and because it's on a Saturday, you have to get it on Friday, and they won't pick up until Monday, so it's, you get it for 3 days. So everything you order is for 3, no matter which company.
And
you
how much
order.
did it cost last year? Do you remember offhand? I know it was more
It
than
was
500.
yeah, I think it
like
was around 700.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I just donated.
Yeah. So I would like to propose that we at least boost it up so Shirley doesn't have to pay for it, because if the city pays for the porta potties, Habitable's got the. I mean, we pay our people in the interactive zone, like, you know, everybody
I
else
think the
makes their
500
money.
kind of went to like the flyers and stuff previously.
Yeah, maybe it did.
What-
Or
let me-
maybe
let
the
me-
city.
Let me put my 2 cents in, my opinion anyway, not 2 cents, that'd be money. But no, my opinion. Because I was reading your information that y'all put out on Habitable Spaces, and it's 13 years.
12.
And that's it.
But yeah.
For fall harvest. You know, and I
Oh,
said,
yeah.
I didn't realize that. And I said, I would like to ask y'all to be a little more tight with your management and cover all your expenses.
Well, I mean, we're asking it to be a
I
city
know.
project too.
Well-
you know, shared project.
And that's, I don't mind supporting it, but I don't want it to be a city project. I want it to be, it was private to begin with, and well, we closed the street. If anybody else has an event, we can close the street, and they have to meet our standards or our requirements for closing the street and having something out in public like that. And we're not funding it at any form. I know in any way.
I think.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I know. No, this is. I really think Fall Festival is a good thing for the community. I really do. But I don't think it's a good thing for the city to be funding. I want the community, but I don't want the government to be. I don't want the liability for the city, because if we're closing the street, are we covering it with our insurance? Liabilities, accidents,
Yeah.
the city? Are we doing?
That's what we've always done.
Do we cover it? Do we cover it if,
over by his
like
own
Big
horse.
Easy has their barbecue and they close the street? Is our insurance covering that event?
Yes, I think so. Your public liability insurance would be. And another way of putting it is, if something happens, the lawyers are going to sue the city
Yeah,
and
right.
Big
Anyway,
Easy
yeah.
and Fall Festival and Habitable Spaces. And so we have insurance to cover that when we are sued.
Couldn't
Now,
be any
if
legal-
now, we have talked in the past, and I think you even passed an ordinance
That's what I was
that
thinking.
said that we're going to require that anybody that does have a public, and we close the streets, obtain insurance to make us what do you call it, the additional insurer?
Second insurer.
Additional insurer.
Additional insurer, yeah.
And I don't know whether we've done that yet, but
Okay.
I think I think you just passed an ordinance that said that
Not long ago.
about 6 months ago, yeah.
You know, I think we did, well, I know we did our street closure. We updated that, didn't we?
Which, if Big Easy
We
or,
did for special events.
Special events, yeah.
But I mean, okay, I
if habitable spaces.
Fall Harvest.
Yeah.
I love Fall Harvest. Kids have grown up with it. I think it's really important to have it in Kingsbury. Shane and I do not get paid to be the directors of habitable
know.
spaces. We put a lot of time, free time, and I can't put on a whole festival and be expected to pay for it by myself. So if Kingsbury doesn't throw in a bit of its share, then I don't know if I'd do it. You know, honestly, I'm not.
I know.
So
I'm just
something to think about.
saying. Well, something to think about is trying to make it where you can do the festival. Habitable spaces can do the festival, and not only have a successful festival, they can make money at it. You know, you shouldn't be working for free either. Although there's, you know, other benefits to you, maybe benefits to the community, but
Long-term.
yeah,
Investment in the community.
But if anyone else came into the city, we want to close the street, we want to have this festival. Okay, you're going to be selling alcohol, insurance. We need your insurance, and blah blah. And I would think they would come in to do it and make money at it too. I don't think people put tractor pulls on or car shows and plan on making zero. You know. I don't know.
Well, it's always been a community festival, so it's kind of up to
Yeah.
the community to make money at it. I mean, for Habitable Spaces perspective, we just wanted to get the community together. That's all we've ever wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not so interested in, I mean, the market is even handled by Christine at this point. We don't handle the main moneymaker, which is the market. So I think it's a community-driven festival. It's a Kingsbury festival, and the cost should be shared between Habitable, you know, the people down there, but also the city of Kingsbury should throw in some. I mean, $500 doesn't even cover the cost of porta potties. So I don't know. This is a longer discussion, and we have a lot to talk about.
Sanitation.
Yeah.
Especially since we've already mentioned COVID.
Yeah, it's like the city of Kingsbury. I believe. I mean, people on Facebook can chime in, but I think they should at least pay for the sanitation.
And
Thank you.
As far as the insurance goes, I think that brings up if we are going to follow the policy and the ordinance that you passed, then that is going to put those people like Habitable Spaces and Big Easy, if they go to their policy and tell their insurance company, I need coverage for the city on this event as an additional insured, that's going to cost them. They're going to get an endorsement and an addition to their policy, and then they're going to send a copy of it to the mayor or to the city clerk that says, here's your
Here's the
additional
verification.
insured, that you're insured by my insured, the Habitable Spaces. That's going to cost them something, and I dare say, I don't know what Donegan or some insurance agency would charge, but my guess is it's going to be at least $750 or $1,000 for an endorsement like that, if that's what we require. So it's an additional cost that we put on to our vendors or our exhibitors.
And we
And
can
maybe
cost
we
on
should pay for some of
Or
that.
maybe we should.
If we want the insurance to cover us, that really doesn't, not TLIE, but the Texas Municipal League, when we get money, when we get that policy covering us, that means Habitable Spaces is insuring us, and that takes the load off from TML.
Yeah.
TML their risk is reduced, and yet we've already paid for it,
It'll say we
so,
won't reduce our cost to TML, will it?
no.
You're preventing your cost
No, you've
from
already paid for
increasing.
that, you paid TML for it, so it doesn't reduce your cost, it just reduces their risk,
Liability.
their cost of doing
It
business.
really prevents us from doing it.
Yeah, I know that, yeah. If that's the cost.
Well, it seems like the procedure, the city policy's already been laid into place as of this summer. So you're gonna have to, as a board, as a governing body, you'll have to decide if you're gonna stick with that policy and not follow it and open up to the possible litigation, or follow it, or disband it, one or the other.
Yeah.
Those are your real three choices.
Yeah.
I believe 2 years ago, we passed a resolution to make Fall Harvest a Kingsbury festival, so it's no longer a habitable space. I mean, we could look back on the records, but I think don't you remember doing that?
I know that we had
Because Habitable was gonna pull out
made
of
that
doing it.
like
It's
a
a lot of
point,
time
but
and
I don't,
energy.
it could be, have been. put
I'd
in
like to see the resolution because I
Well, if not, I mean, that would
mean, I don't know,
be
it might
serious.
seem,
Like,
it's
it might be.
you know, to
Yeah.
have the festival went from Habital's Faces Fall Festival, Fall Harvest Festival, Habital's Faces Fall Harvest Festival, to Fall Harvest Festival, to Kingsbury Fall Harvest Festival, and then now it's Habital's Faces and Kingsbury sometimes Fall Harvest Festival. But it's like, it's kind of like fluctuating back and forth. And if we're gonna own it outright, then
I think legally, cities need a nonprofit to run festivals through, and we could discuss this with Luling, but I believe you always have to have a nonprofit in place to do the festival part of the, yeah.
Correct. It has to be
So,
501c
and that's,
or
Okay.
that's why several years
Okay.
ago, we talked about this, is, you know, Habitable said, we don't want to run this anymore alone, because it's taking up all our time, and we
Yeah.
don't get paid. And so we asked Kingsbury to take some of the burden, and then it became a Kingsbury festival. Now, when that ask was made, the understanding was that the insurance and that it is now a Kingsbury festival. Kingsbury, the city of Kingsbury is now responsible for this festival. Now, whether we want to cancel the festival is, I guess, up to the city of Kingsbury. But,
Should I go grab the book of resolutions and see if it's there?
I mean, do we have time
It'll
for
be on the
this
website.
tonight, or is this like a September meeting?
you'll delay this a bit. I mean, I'm not asking to blow it up now, but if we do need to decide what our ordinance says, we need to see what the resolution says.
Well, right
And
now, we're
this-
in budget.
Yeah,
So-
so let's do
This
both.
has to be tabled.
So, go
This
ahead.
has to be tabled.
All right. Anyway, oh yeah, we were discussing the festival sponsorships.
Yes.
There we go. So go ahead.
Yep.
It, right now, it's at 500. And that, like I said, that pretty much kind of covers the cost of mailers.
Mailers, yeah.
And then everything else has been donated. So, I mean, do you have a issue with bumping it to 750?
No.
Okay.
And we'll have to discuss the insurance, because we're not gonna be able to do it without Kingsbury insuring.
I would
so
recommend that you
we'll have to
bump
put
it
that
up
on
to
an agenda item
100,
for next.
and that way you stay under, that way it gives you a little bit of grace, because you don't know what the insurance is gonna come and estimate cost is gonna be. And then that way you can always reduce that budget without getting into any issue with your, with filing of your budget. It's when you need to increase it, it's when you're hit the cap, that's when the challenges come.
I have no idea, so it's fine.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, no.
All right.
So, wait, what's getting bumped to what?
Festival
750.
sponsorships?
Festival sponsorship, 750.
Any other items on, we still have a payment, well, once the final surface has been put into the sinkhole, I still have some payments for that, but that's not gonna be too much. Anything else on?
Yes, ma'am. So in regards to the proposed budget, one of the things that the committee is really interested in seeing increase is definitely the newsletter postage that you've already talked about, as well as, I know you guys are going to do notices for newspapers, so that's because of legal purposes. But then also information mailouts and postage, and of course that technology assistance. Later in the agenda, I'll talk about that and some of the things that tie directly to all four of these line items that are proposed in the budget to really help with the communication and the engagement of community.
So you're talking about technology and mailers and what?
Just how we can use those to strategically engage with the Kingsbury community at large.
Correct.
So to get opinions
By upping
about
those
what
line
we-
items, we have a greater opportunity to make a much bigger impact as well as engagement.
Okay, well, we did bump. We did bump them.
Yes, I'm agreeing, and I don't know what you bumped up to each line item,
1,500.
a piece? Okay, thank you.
That was information and technology, correct?
information mail out / postage, and technology / city websites.
Mails, emails.
If we're doing any more notices, did you address newspaper notice fees, or is that fine?
We did
400?
not, that, we still have that at 400. That tends to be for legal notices.
Right.
So, right now, we are probably a little above that, given the
Yes.
grant items. So,
5.5 roughly.
yeah, our public hearing was 113, and then we had 2 grant items for 195 and 185. So that's another 400 there. That, and our run it rate was 0.
And-
So it's not like we're far exceeding it so far. The only time we have to do public, legal notices is for property annexations and then
RFPs.
public hearings.
And RFPs, right?
Well, now, and then RSPs. In the past, it's only been one of those items. So, we have it at 400 right now. Any thoughts to bump that up?
The reason I asked about it,
Mm-hmm.
Mayor, was that I don't see that we have an actual number on there. So
We don't.
we haven't
because-
done any this year in this fiscal year?
Right, so our last time that we did was at a voluntary annexation, because we have to have a new legal notice for that, and then the last public hearing on budget, which would have been in last.
But what about all the petitions to remove from?
Yeah, I don't need a
ETJ
newspaper notice for that, no.
Okay.
Right, that is just paperwork filed with the city of Seguin, which they then file with the county.
Has the information mailouts and postage, has that line item increased, that I just missed that dollar amount increase?
1,500.
1,500.
It is 1,500, thank you,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you. Thank you.
And that one right there, too. Technology.
Yeah, I got that one.
So typically, public hearings is when we've been required to do, whether that's for annexations or budget. But now, with the RFPs, if we're, going to continue actively pursuing grant opportunities, which I think we should, there will be more notices for RFPs. So that probably is something we should bump up. Double it? 800?
I think so.
Yeah.
All right, any other items on here that are of note? All right.
I'm not an accountant. Why is there 0 on donations when I just heard about donations specifically donated for the festival?
Oh, I didn't donate to the
No.
city. So, yeah.
The city's under the festival is under consideration and discussion.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't an official donation, but she quietly and humbly did it, and it was out of the goodness of her own heart, and she took no credit. But I don't think that's a fair way to run a festival. That's why I'm saying, there's a big gap here, and
I don't do
Porta
financials
potties.
at all, but does it not affect your grant writing if you have matching funds?
oh,
there is
a line in there.
It's called match in kind funds,
Yeah.
and those can, if that entity
they
that
qualify.
donated was specifically for that
Yeah, that's what.
item, but it has to be identified that way, otherwise you don't put on there as a nonprofit. You use it elsewhere.
General fund.
Any further citizen comments or discussions on our budget items here? All right, at this point, we will adjourn our public hearing. And at this point, item number 6, reconvene our regular commission meeting. So item number 7, discuss and consider fiscal year 2024-2025 city budget. So at this point, we can make a motion to approve the amended budget.
I will make a motion to approve the 2024-2025 city budget as amended.
I will second that if you recap the changes, the amendments.
Okay, recap. So, items that we have changed, newspaper notice and fees went from 400 to 800. Information, those stayed the same? Yes.
Information
Mailouts and postage. We had upped it was originally 125. We upped it to 800, and now we have upped it to 1,500. Technology/city websites was 750. We had left it at 750, but now we have upped it to 1,500. Our festival sponsorships had been at 500, and we have upped that to 1,500. So we were using the 1,500 quite a bit.
And the newspaper notice fee is also 800. That was double. Did you get that one?
Newspaper notice fees, yes. It went from 400 to 800.
And then the city newsletter postage, that one went up to 1,500, I think. Oh, no. There's
No,
nothing on there.
we
No,
did not
do that
not
one. I got that one
update.
confused. Pardon me.
Yeah, we did update information mailout/postage to 1,500.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
So, any further discussion on the motion that's been made? Okay, do I hear a second?
I seconded it.
All right, the motion is made and seconded to approve the updated proposed 2024-2025 city budget. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, that motion carries. Item number 8, discuss and consider Kingsbury Development Committee report.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Good afternoon, residents. Thank you for your time this evening. My name is Elena Rodriguez. I go by E. I'm the Kingsbury Development Committee facilitator. Right now, as of August 13th, we met with several folks, including residents, guests that attended that meeting. And in that meeting, the purpose was to talk about the development of a strategic plan. I do want to remind everyone that the Kingsbury Development Committee, the committees and the commissions are not the same thing. The distinguishable feature is that a committee operates as a means of internal regulation, while commission services as an external review and decision or ordinance process. The mission of the Kingsbury Development Committee seeks to promote and improve quality of life, enhancing the sense of community, and preserving the integrity of our small town identity. Our vision, the KDC, the Kingsbury Development Committee's vision, seeks to sustainable growth that protects our natural and historic resources while preserving integrity of our small town identity. Our first topic of the action item had to do with the development of the city's strategic plan for what we're calling the plan or vision 2030. We're trying to look 5 years out with the focus of 2025 and 2027 being the 2 years to create the Kingsbury goals and work plan. During this working meeting, we identified 4 major pillars such as community spirit and unity, open, tradition meets tomorrow, and practice good environmental stewardship. These 4 goals were the ones that were discussed during the meeting on the 13th, which is open to the public and you are strongly encouraged to attend. One of the things out of that meeting, the information has been posted and shared live on the Kingsbury message board. It has also been shared via email. And if you would, and I'm going to have it being posted on the Kingsbury, Texas Facebook group page as well. And I'll work with our city clerk to get that uploaded appropriately. At this time, residents and volunteers and staff and commissioners that attended the work group will have until September 4th to submit their KDC goals and work plans towards the strategic plan. The goal is to have a rough draft submitted to this body, the commissioner's body, by September. That's next month. So you got about 3 weeks to get it over to me. to have some input, and we really encourage your input. I am going to see about pushing out more notice to get more involvement beyond the video and newsletter type stuff. The second item that was discussed also had to do with the KDC activity calendar. As of June 2024, the KDC activity coordinator has stepped aside for personal matters. Currently, the KDC facilitator, me, has stepped up as backup for the position until another volunteer is interested. Due to the limited resources, KDC will focus on the events solely funded by the city of Kingsbury. At this point on the calendar, looking ahead, we're looking at the National Night Out, and then the Kingsbury Fall Festival. The Fall Festival will be a 2-day event, and volunteers will be needed for the day Friday, the day before, as well as the day of. So that's November 8th and 9th. For more information, please reach out to me. Let's talk. Let's see how we can really help the city and its sponsors get this information out with flyers, information, newsletters, a variety of different, any way and every way, so we can get a really good turnout. Last, the third component that the KDC also discussed had to do with the communication platform inventory. KDC has been conducting a review and analysis of the city's existing communication platforms to ensure they remain vibrant for important announcements and communication with residents. Thus far, the KDC has identified 4 mediums: newsletter, Kingsbury, Texas Facebook page, Kingsbury website, and the Kingsbury e-bulletin board. Currently, the committee has conducted reviews of 2 additional platforms, and I'm going to outline those 2 of the 4 now. The first one being the Kingsbury newsletter. Recommended increasing value-added content, remove the rest of the non-value-added data, redesign a layout, recruit residents to contribute articles with guidelines, including city staff, and reduce duplication quarterly versus weekly, or maybe monthly. I think weekly is really way too much. It's too cumbersome, and the information is not truly value-added on a regular weekly basis. There's simply not enough value-added information to share weekly. Emphasis and to emphasize, the newsletter should emphasize the city's motto, living simply well. And this is a marketing potential. We want to lay that in order to do additional marketing, help our future events and activities, and to get more engagement. The other portion has to do with the City of Kingsbury Facebook page, increased utilization beyond meeting notices to include surveys, engagement activities, and positive news, milestones, and accomplishments. Proactively communicate positive and value-added news about the city to residents, businesses, and the surrounding communities. As of this time, the new business that we discussed has to do with the city strategic plan and then the upcoming events. The report today reflects what happened in August last month. It was emailed and has been provided on the Kingsbury bulletin board and has been verbally reiterated to everyone live. Some announcements that we have. August 27th is LBJ's birthday. It's a federal and state holiday, so many offices may be closed. You want to check with your local area. Lastly, we are seeking volunteers. The KDC, the Kingsbury Development Committee, is seeking volunteers. If you have an interest to get involved, to do civic service, to do your engagement, to feel motivated and proud about your town, come see us. Come spend some time with us. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, 10th of September, here at the beautiful Kingsbury Volunteer Fire Department Station at 6:30 Central Standard Time. We run from exactly 6:30 to 7:30, exactly 60 minutes, and I run a tight ship.
Yes, you did.
Yes.
Subject to any comments, questions, or concerns, that's what I have for the KDC report.
Thank you.
Very good report.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, item number 9.
Totally forgot, I totally forgot about your comments. School has started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's something, the buses, and, it used to be my big thing.
Item number 9, discuss and consider our town grant update.
Oh, yeah. Well, not too much. I won't take up too much of your time, but yes, I did get the grant in. Writing government grants is no joke. I do see why people make a living doing it. It's a lot of work. I sent out some
It could be a
PDFs.
side hustle for you.
Yeah, oh God, no. I My husband would leave me. But I sent you guys the PDFs, and I think I sent you the application too. I don't know. Did I send everybody? I don't know. I just made a bunch of PDFs that are kind of read like a magazine with images. It's really to portray what Kingsbury is, what habitable spaces is, how we work together, and our vision for the future. So those, I'm hoping that I can take those PDFs then and use them to just keep on applying. There's a bunch of private funders that we might be able to access money from, which again, I don't know if the city could even do that, but because we're a nonprofit, well, I am both a city commissioner and a nonprofit. I know I've complaining about that earlier, but yeah, as habitable spaces could maybe bring in some of that funding, and then GrantWorks, hopefully, or I mean, or whoever answers the RFP, would hopefully do the heavy lifting on like infrastructure, actual stuff, paying people. Okay, but back to this grant. If we get this grant, I think we'll find out in April. We can't spend the money until July of next year. And what it would be for, what Habitable Spaces is proposing again to bring arts in, is it would basically be, we would pay 8 people, and we'll do an international call to come in from wherever, and it would be, the jury would be composed of Kingsbury citizens, City Commission members, Habitable Spaces members, and renowned curators from the South Central Texas area. So we'd all look through these applications. I think we can talk about this as we go along and if we get the grant. But what we'd be looking for is engineers, designers, forward thinkers to help us think about this huge beast of a problem that we have before us. And I would love to see, maybe we'll get an engineer from some tiny little country where they've figured out how to make their city float. I don't know. Who's out there? Where are the minds? So that's part of the money. But the other part of the money, which is truly exciting, would go to our locals, and we really want to emphasize Kingsbury people. There's some great construction companies in Kingsbury. There's some great talented people in Kingsbury. So that money would be earmarked, and again, we'd have a jury, a jury of our peers choose. So if we get the money, more, but hopefully we'll be able to bring some income and into talent here and bring some smart minds to help us think about all this stuff. Anyway, that's my report.
Okay, so the grant was submitted. It was
yes.
submitted. So what are the milestones or time schedules or whatever?
So we find out in April, I think, and then if we get the money, it would
April.
be July 1st.
Okay.
We can't spend the money before July 1st next year.
So they'll notify grant, is it winners?
Yeah, usually you find out, I mean, if you're going to get it, you'll know in April.
Okay, it will be in April. Okay.
Yeah, and then next steps would be forming the jurors who are going to look at these applications, figuring out who we want to work with on the Kingsbury side, and ideally this would pay for all the plans. They're not going to pay for anything. They're not going to pay for stuff, but they will pay for people to draw architectural plans. They will pay for people to figure out how to do water collection systems. They will pay for, which could be local. They could pay for any design work. So that's what, hopefully we can get the design stuff paid for.
On a commercial scale.
Yeah, and I know that there's a lot of projects we're thinking about, and we can design all of them through this grant, and then we can take the designs as we have the money for each one and figure out order of importance, because it's not going to happen tomorrow.
Okay, so at this point, it's wait and see.
Wait and see. Yep. But I'm going to continue writing more grants, and hopefully we'll get some of them.
All right, awesome. I think who is it in the fire department that has done a number of grants? Is that David, or is that
maybe? Where did they get grants from? Because I know I wrote a couple of grants for them through GVC that we didn't get. GVC is a hard one.
I think that's what has where the money for some of the fire vehicles has come from.
Maybe it was David. I don't know.
I don't know.
He'd be a good person to ask.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it might also be Bonnie.
Oh, yes.
I think you're right.
I bet it was Bonnie.
I was thinking.
Yeah, I bet you it's Bonnie.
watching Facebook right now and chime
But
in.
I mean, that's someone who's, I mean, they've been able to procure, grant funds
Fantastic,
for a
yeah.
number of vehicles. So they, I think,
Yeah, that's
I
right. They got
don't-
that,
I don't-
that brand new fire truck.
yeah, I would think that was through some grants. So they have had some success at getting grants through. And, it's for a different animal, than what we're trying to do. But it's still, getting that someone that's you're experienced firefighter, but someone that's also experienced in this, and it may be a way, an opportunity to kind of just, to work together to.
Absolutely.
To-
The more the merrier. And, I mean, even if we do end up working with a grant writing company for some of it, that doesn't mean they have to write all our grants.
Right.
So, I mean,
Right.
yeah. A collaborative effort.
Yeah.
Allison, I have a question. You were talking about you'll get the grants in April, or they announce it. And it sounds like after that, you go through an RFP process to get the engineers or the
Correct.
artists.
Correct.
And so it might work out time-wise that it's at the same time we're doing the community block grant for our strategic and our infrastructure planning in the future. We're going to be looking for engineers, and you might be able to utilize the city of Kingsbury and Capital Spaces utilize the same engineers or urban planners to do that. But anyway, we'll see how the timeline works out and the community block
And I
grant.
also have a list of known really good planners and construction management and architects. Just personally, I can share with you later.
Yeah.
Well, good luck.
Yeah, it's exciting. Exciting stuff.
It is.
You put it out there, it's gonna happen now.
It is.
Yeah, I mean,
It
it's, I can feel it. I
Yep,
can feel
I can
it.
feel it too.
All right, well,
All right.
Thank you.
Here comes Utopia.
Speaking of grants, item number 10, discuss and consider status of the CDBG MIT Resilient Communities Program, RCP, and the 2025-2026 Texas Community Development Block Grant Fund Program, applications process, and take any action necessary to further the process.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So, yeah, those RFPs went out on August 14th, and the same day that they ran in the paper. And the main thing that felt like we needed to address in this meeting is that we need a selection committee of at least 3 people, and one of those people has to be an elected official. And there's a scoring sheet, and you read through the proposals that get sent in, and you score it. So we need to figure out who's going to be on that committee by August 27th.
I mean, I'll be on it, yeah.
Right on.
There's 2 of the 3.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
we
exciting.
got Shirley and
I'm excited.
Allison.
Woohoo. I mean, is it okay to have two
Two?
people from city commission, or does it matter?
Well, Sam, you
Sure,
you emailed me back about this and your thoughts a little bit, but you were saying you thought it would be good if all 3 commissioners were on it, or if one commissioner, and if you wanted to.
Well, yes, ma'am. I think that the option is open to the city commission. They have the options of acting, saying that this is my grant for my city. These 3 commissioners are going to be the selection committee. That's one thing they could do, and I think that meets the parameters of the community block grant in the first place. So that's one of their options. Or the city commission may consider that they would like to delegate that responsibility to somebody else to pour over the background of these engineers and planners and see which one makes sense. And they may wish to delegate that to a committee of 3, or I think they have to have 3, but they could make it a commission of 5, and you
Minimum
can have
3.
more than 3. And
Minimum 3.
minimum of 3, right.
And you always want an odd number, so that way you're screening, you can break a tie.
So, and they could, now, I think you're right, it does require that grant to be selected. One of the committee members has to be an elected official, as you pointed out. So they have that option of either they're the 3 that do it, or they can name some committee where of citizens that involves with naming one of them to be on there and meet the minimum. Or if they want to, they can blend a committee together of all 3 of them plus 4 or 5 other people or whatever they want. They make
easier
the.
if it was
Yeah.
only one,
Yes.
because then,
Yes.
then we
You don't have
can,
the quorum.
Yeah, you don't have a
yes,
quorum
then,
issue.
because there won't be a quorum at the.
So that's the decision that I was recommending that the commission consider their options, and then they design it the way it works best for the city.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're, I'd be happy for you to take it since I'm going to be doing the Habitable Spaces end of stuff too. So,
Yeah.
If it's, you're right, it does make it easier if there's only one.
Yeah,
because
we
then
don't
have to
have
worry
a
about
quorum on
quorum.
That was going to be taking on too much.
I know. I just was excited. Excited.
Well, I like that
I'll be
everybody
involved with all
wasn't
of
just like, I was a little concerned that that could happen.
No, this is exciting.
It is.
Cool.
So what do we need to do further for you on
Well,
this?
I mean, I guess, it sounds like Shirley, you're gonna be one of the people.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
but then if we don't want to do it, then it has to be a
Now, what
person,
does, are there
somebody
any
else.
restrictions? Does it have to be someone that lives in the city limits? Is it somebody that, is there any kind of restriction on that, or is it just somebody in the community?
I don't know. I don't think.
I don't know the answer to that either. If there's a restriction that requires that it be somebody in the city limits or a voting citizen of Kingsbury, I don't think so, because I think they designed those community block grants, and EU may have a better idea, but they design it to where the commission has control and controls the committee, but then it doesn't matter. This commission could actually go out and hire some student at Texas State University who is working on a master's degree in urban planning, and could name them to that committee to select from Texas A&M master planners and others. So I don't think that they have to be, on that logic, I don't think they all have to be people that reside in the city limits.
So you were
Should we
3
decide now?
people, try to decide 3 people now, or at least get a good start on it? You can do more than 3, but if you got the 3 covered, you got your minimum. If there's
It's just to
one,
read through RFPs
would you
and
be
score them,
2?
right?
I'm happy to be one of the people.
So we just need a third.
Are you
Yeah.
interested?
Me?
Tom?
Sam, Elena?
Well,
Interest?
I would say that I should, and I mentioned it in an email back to Jessica, that I think it would be appropriate for me to just remain as the legal advisor to that selection committee and the commission. But when you point at E, I think she would make a great committee member, because she knows something about who these planners are. She's heard of some of these people, and she can reach out to others that she knows. And because of her familiarity with the process, and her interest in
Because there's
the
nobody
city of
else there.
Kingsbury.
Think somebody interested in that and have the time?
Well, I'll have to let her speak for herself
okay.
about that. I think I've answered your question.
Such a good lawyer answer. So you're looking for committee members for the vendor RFP process screening? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's a selection committee.
Selection committee?
to
Yeah,
go
I can do that. Do we have designated questions, or we can talk about the format later, but
There's a scoring sheet.
perfect, that's exactly what I was wanting to know.
Okay.
You've answered it right there.
All right, we have a committee, I guess. Do we need a resolution to create a selection committee, or is that?
That would be within the grant requirements, I do believe,
I don't believe you'd have to.
Which is why I
Just like
would
when you
say
just
no.
like when you're interviewing for applicants as an employer, you don't need to have that, even though it's still legally contract. Yeah, I just don't think that that's necessary. But I can look.
Sounds good to me.
Well, and I think he is right, but we did in the past, I think we did a resolution, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we did a resolution, though, when we created the Kingsbury Development Committee, we did a resolution that said these are the following people, and it was after you brought them in, and it was at the agenda. They were sitting here, and I think we passed a, you might go back and check on that, Jessica, but that was what, about 3 or 4, well, it was more than 3 or 4.
No, it's been about a year ago.
About a year
But
ago.
we can get into those details a
Yeah.
little later.
I
I
would
would
take
do.
that and look and see if that's something that we need to do, so.
But you might need to do it
What's our
before-
deadline on this?
Might need to do it before the September meeting.
Well, they have to answer the RFPs first, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Right, well, we'll find out before
Yeah.
then and answer, but I would dare say the biggest thing here is when your screening matrix, it doesn't really matter who's on the committee, as long as everyone's being asked the same question, everyone's being screened the same way to avoid favoritism, discrimination, or any other
Very good.
non-compliance, because that's gonna keep you in total compliance with both state and federal law.
Right.
And that matrix that you have you're gonna ask that to all of them. You're not gonna change any question.
Nothing
for anything.
additional.
You cannot. Once you've determined the questions to ask and ensuring that those are not discriminatory, then bam, now you have to ask all your applicants that same sets of questions. You cannot change beyond that.
And you can't ask one of them, but not the rest of them.
Correct.
Sam, would you like to go hunting on my place over here at the ranch next weekend while we talk about this committee? You can't. So anyway, I'm just emphasizing her point that it's the same questions to everybody.
Which is,
Right, so we'll see what we have to do as far as. and-
We've got this.
Yeah.
We've got this.
and if anybody's in commercial, if anybody doesn't agree, then you show up at the
Okay.
next meeting, please.
Have an electronic
Yes.
glitch, so we have a time span that we don't have recorded, and we can fill in the blanks. Okay. And back to the live feed now? Okay. Technical difficulties have been resolved. Y'all missed a lot, but it was interesting. I'm sorry, that's the way it is.
Right, item number 11, discuss and consider plans for coronavirus local fiscal recovery funds, Clipper. This is Allison.
well, it's actually the grant you wrote, but I guess I've been harping on people. We got to do something about this, so I can write it. What do we need to write? And isn't there an email about this? Didn't we get an email? Do you guys remember?
We get emails all the time.
about the report. Was that for Clifford? I think I.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so
Yeah.
are they just saying it's due?
It was just a reminder, wasn't it?
No, I don't think it's due, it's just.
It was like an update.
Like he said, it's a
Yeah,
reminder
and I
that
did
we
it.
have until December 31st.
Yeah.
So we should do something in September, October, or November.
Once we actually have some plans
Mm-hmm.
I can write those up and upload those. But at this point,
We don't have
went through the process of, that we don't have any monies identified for this yet because we're still in the planning process.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was,
You can't write a specific plan because we don't have enough information yet.
right,
If
we don't have identified projects
But we,
for,
once we identify a project and agree on it,
Yeah.
and
Then-
you grab the plan, as long as it's before December 31st.
right. So
Yeah.
then we can
Which will come
upload
soon,
all
I
that
believe, because
information.
there's lots of
Right.
plans happening.
At this point, it was, if you haven't spent any money, why haven't you spent any money? And so my response to that was, that we have not finally identified the projects that we
How we're
are.
gonna, the full extent of them.
Right, so.
I mean, we've put our finger, we know what the people want, but how to get there
Right.
and what exactly to
Right.
spend this money on and how, I think is all taking shape
Yeah.
as we speak.
Yes.
Good.
All right, item number 12, discuss and consider update on plans for the Kingsbury Municipal Waste Transfer Station. And that is where I'm still working with the Commissioner's Court. It's an uphill battle, however, it is still an item. In talking with the Commissioner, who is still there until November. Yeah, or January. One of the things was regarding recycling. And the comment, the way that the Commissioner's Court is taking this is that recycling, everything goes into the dump anyway. I can't say that that's a fact, but I mean, I've heard that numerous times.
A lot of people do say that even, yeah.
I don't know if that, how much of that is fact. So that may be a question for the contacts that Udo had. And if that is indeed a fact, or is that, is that,
Those contacts actually came through me. I know he was getting frustrated with them, but what they basically said is cardboard, they can resell cardboard, and so cardboard can be recycled. The problem is to get it from Kingsbury to one of their stations in either San Antonio or Austin, it has to be bundled. So we can either buy a bundler, they could sell us a bundler, but they're not going to give us one. That's a big expense.
Well, if I remember, we had to, it had
that's
to be
just cardboard.
bundled, and then it had to be warehoused until we had a full truckload.
Yeah.
And, it can't get wet.
Yeah.
It cannot get wet.
yeah,
And then the plastic, I think some of it can be recycled through them, but it's specific, it's not, and probably what was going on at the transfer station with that huge thing that we were all just dumping our I think that was just getting dumped.
I
Because there's
believe
no
it
way
was.
that they could have gone through all that stuff and
Well, they
figured
call
out
it-
what's in there.
Well, that's the whole single stream recycling.
yeah.
And it's probably something that there's a limited number of resources that are available to do single source
The question for the
recycling.
Commissioner is what if the recycling is done right or not, or?
No,
Well,
well, it depends on, like, is it actually getting recycled, is what they were wondering. Now, I think if we worked with if the people out of San Antonio, or, the ones, Balcones, I don't think they have their San Antonio yet. They do actually recycle, but it's gonna cost us money. And he was straight up with me, he was like, we can't send our trucks out there. They don't make money on the recycling. They make a little, but it pays for the costs of doing it. So for them to get a truck all the way out, again, we would have to pay to have it hauled off. So it would be an expense. We wouldn't make money at it.
Yeah.
So we have to think about that.
And I would definitely agree.
I think we'd
as
make money
far
at the
as
cardboard, though.
As far as verifying what actually happening, as somebody who ran in transportation, some of the recycling did actually happen. And so
Did
the
it?
money ran out.
Yeah, and then they're
Well,
just dumping it, yeah.
Some materials they have value as the
Cardboard has more
recycled
value
material.
than plastic, I
Yeah,
think.
aluminum, it readily
Yeah.
All
has
of
value.
it has value. I did glass until they couldn't.
Well, it has a value until it becomes more costly to recycle it, to ship it, grind it, or then just make brand new.
Well, I have a question maybe also for Elena, and the development committee and all of us. I mean, I think that we all want this. I mean, and maybe we should start thinking about how to streamline a waste station into our overall plan too. What does it look like? how can we recycle? I mean, can we take plastic and make it, and I know they have these machines where you make it into that 3D printing thread, certain things, so we could even have a whole, I don't know, I'm dreaming, but you know. that's how
There's
you
a
get
lot of
places.
different grades of plastic, and they can't necessarily be
Even on the
combined
aluminum
at all.
can, it's interesting that the tabs on the cans were taken by one particular person to make needle, but their machine broke down, so they no longer.
Yeah, a
It's
lot
a
of
very
people.
good way to go, and
Yeah.
So that was a big point with the county commissioner is that, well,
He was
if you're
saying
doing
recycling was not
recycling,
a-
it's going into the
not gonna
dump
happen.
anyway.
Okay.
Again, I don't know how true that really is, but again, it's something that I've always heard. So, it may be a point of getting with,
They did reach out after Udo, you know, kind of, and I didn't respond because, you know, I
Yeah.
think Udo kind of, but if I can reach out to them again. And
yeah, if you would.
we'll just
and-
get some costs, you
Yeah.
know, and see.
Yeah.
I do know that.
I mean, we may, this thing all may be put to bed, but I don't want to put it to bed until I have some
Well, I guess
concrete information.
the
and-
question really is like, can we make enough from the garbage drop off to pay for the recycling haul off?
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Is there a
and
way
somebody
to-
to be there.
Yeah.
Because we don't need to make a profit. We just need to break even.
Break
It
even.
needs to all like pay for
Yeah.
itself.
But, you know, as with the county commissioners, again, you know, that was also, you know, insurance, utilities, paying, you know, for somebody to be there. So, if they're going to pay somebody to be there, but insurance was a big thing. So,
Well, not to argue with my commissioners, but I would if I had to. I think that's begging the question when they raise that as an objection, that, wait a minute, paper and plastics and everything, and glass all goes to the dump. Well, that doesn't make any difference
Yeah,
to the
who
question of whether we're going to run
Amen.
it
Amen.
or whether they're going to run
Yeah.
it, and if they're
Amen.
going to do something with the paper, the plastic, and the glass. So to say that, well, I don't think you ought to run it, Kingsbury, because you want to do recycling. Well, just the recycling is part of the dump.
Yeah, what does it matter to them?
What difference does it make to them? But anyway, that's,
yeah.
So when is the next meeting? When do we need to get some information?
they have their
together?
mindset.
By the,
Yeah.
by next month or
Well, yeah,
quarterly?
You have an
The
accurate
next
argument.
of the
Commissioners court.
Very accurate
Commissioners
argument.
Court meets twice a month.
Like,
So do we want to try to get a proposal together? I mean,
I just need some information.
okay.
I just need
You know what, maybe-
information because I'm getting, you know, these in discussion, talking about things and
Were you
it's,
able to secure all that information and data and files and papers and stuff from Udo?
Not yet.
Emails?
no.
What I'll do is I will put on the message board all the information, and then you can reach out to them, and I will reach out to them as well. And you know, we already have. They're kind of busy opening up that news station, but yeah, I know we've already contacted them, so
Yeah.
we'll continue that conversation, and hopefully maybe you can get some results that Udo couldn't.
This is
Whoever
from
does it,
the balcony.
Balcones people.
Yeah.
whoever does it and run that transfer station has to spend money, like Republic Waste used to spend money paying people and trucks. And so that comes down to the county provided the service. The county is no longer doing that. And they simply. well, they're-
a company to provide the
yeah.
Right, but they had to pay something to
Yes.
Republic Waste to do it. And I think,
a month, I think.
yes, and again, not to fly in the face of the county commissioners, but really what they're doing is, in my opinion, is they're just saying, nobody can do this because there's no tax dollars for it, and we're not going to raise the taxes. It's a service for the county, for the residents of the state, and as such, they should tax people for a service that we get. That's my view. I recognize there are other views, but they are just shirking their responsibility by saying, I can't afford to pay for it, and the people of Guadalupe County can't pay for it, so we're not going to do it. That's all they're doing. And I think they should change their minds and provide the service. But again, that's just a personal comment. But again, I think what comes down to is their paper is a little different. It has value for recycling. But to answer your question, the paper, the plastic and the glass don't have any value. They are, and that's what we propose to do in Udo's proposal, or the city's proposal, was we're going to haul it all off to the landfill. We were trying to streamline it with, but anyway, I digress. I don't need to. That's just my opinion of what the real elephant in the room is.
So we'll get some more information get the information from Udo, and if you'll pass on that
Yes,
information.
definitely.
And I'll have something more there that I can
Maybe Sam
take.
needs to come down to the next commissioners meeting when we present
Yeah.
said information.
I wonder if
And Greg and
Green Guy in San Marcos, Green Guy Recycling.
they like you?
Over there by
Okay.
They
Goodwill.
like you now?
Ooh, Green Guy, that's in San Marcos, I've heard of them. Okay,
We went
They'll
there
like-
for the first time.
they'll like you
not long
afterwards.
Is that over
ago.
by Goodwill? By Hobby
You
Lobby?
smile,
Yeah,
smile, laugh, and
it
shake
was
their
by
hand.
Hobby Lobby. And,
how was it?
it was cool. I mean, you know, it's very well organized, and it, you know, you have to put your stuff in where it goes, you know. But it was free. We just drove in. We unloaded a ton of cardboard, and
Yeah, I've been there.
yeah,
Maybe we
It's
should
been a
talk
while.
to them and see
Sorry,
how
I
they're,
missed the discussion.
because maybe they could,
Information that maybe we can get from Green Guy Recycling over in San
Okay.
Marcos.
Okay.
yeah.
Because
I mean,
it's-
they're close by. And
Yeah.
they're closer than
Like I
San
said,
Diego.
I've been there, so it's
Yeah.
been,
They'll
it's been a
take-
while. But
They take a lot of stuff, a lot of different kinds of things. You have to put it in the appropriate bin yourself. You know, we brought this stuff that was supposed to be recyclable that was like insulation that comes in food boxes, and I talked to somebody. I was like, "Is this recyclable here?" And he was like, "Let me go find out." And then he went off somewhere and talked to someone, and he was like, "No, the people that take our cardboard can't take this," you know. And so, which it just felt very legit. Like,
Yeah.
this stuff is really going to
you
get
you
recycled.
can make money, but it's all the trucking and the organizing and the labor that it costs to separate everything else, you know. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
if the citizens in this area want to recycle, if the separating can be done by them, if your heart's in it, you'll separate it. Because that's the number one cause of losing recyclables, is because it's mixed in with crap.
yeah, or
So-
you know, pizza boxes.
But if you can recycle,
That's
if you can
their cardboard,
separate,
but
if
if
you can
they're
separate the
greasy,
product
don't
out,
take 'em.
all we gotta do then is find somebody to transport it. Okay? And then we need to cover that cost,
Which
so,
could be a local Kingsbury person.
Yeah.
but it's gonna be a cost, it's gonna be an expense, so,
Yeah.
you know. So yes, we'll take your cardboard and we'll take it to Austin once a month, but it's gonna cost you $25.
Yeah.
Because we have to pay gas and his time and his vehicle and whatever else we have to pay. Nothing, you know,
Yeah.
but it can be done, it can be done.
All right.
And then we can show Seidenberg that
Yeah.
it does get recycled.
Well, I will help with that. I'll poke around
Okay.
too and get some info.
Yeah.
Because I would like
Yeah.
to see it. Yeah. All right.
All right. Item number 13, discuss and consider interlocal agreement with subdivision regulations. Any update on that? That's
I
something we
didn't know
carried
what I
over.
was supposed to update.
Well, it was just one thing we wanted to keep on here. So,
What was it?
about the interlocal.
Yeah, I think
If-
that
if
we
that's
do need to,
something-
we do need to
Hold on.
work on that.
Well, is it something we want to pursue or not?
I do. I
Let
want
me
to
ask,
pursue it.
what do you want to pursue with the interlocal?
It's the plating thing, and
Okay.
it's also I mean, personally, it's the plating and the septic, I think. So I think it's important we pursue it.
Here's,
If we can.
let me just throw this out first. I'm not organized, am I? Crap. Well, I will find it, but on our interlocal agreement,
Here it is.
we've turned,
Did you want this?
that's, yeah. No, well, that's, I guess I gave everybody a copy? Okay, well, I brought two copies, one I was gonna give to Sam.
No,
just
this
in
is
case.
one that I had.
No, okay, then is it, here we are. Is it the one that's dated this 2017? Signed by you and Nelda?
Yes.
Okay, that's, I don't know if you have one or not.
Well, I you.
Okay.
I think you did.
Okay.
Oh, well, I'll
But
take
it's-
a look.
It was, we turned over the regulation of plating and on-site sewage to the county.
Yeah.
To regulate. And, but the plating, let me see what it was. We didn't turn over, maybe it is the, no, it's floodplain and on-site sewage. Plating is not,
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm pretty sure.
So is that guy maybe not in Kingsbury now?
No, if it's within the city limits. If it's in the ETJ, I think yes, but if it's within the city limits, no.
Huh.
No highlighter, Frank.
This one's
Okay.
Frank, take your copy back because you highlighted it.
Well,
You said in D on the second page, it's understood by this agreement that the county will be the exclusive authority for enforcing subdivision regulations and any and all other permitting that is required in the ETJ of the city. And then went on to say that the county shall require the developer to provide the city with a copy of such a subdivision. And I don't remember, and I don't see highlighted in here that
It doesn't say within the
it
city
doesn't
limits.
say within the city limits
It's not
either.
within the
It's
city
not,
limits.
I think that we gave them exclusive authority in this agreement back
For
in
the
20,
ETJ.
for the ETJ and the city, because we didn't address it. And this doesn't say that the city is gonna control the city. I don't think it says that.
Well, it doesn't say, it doesn't specifically say that, but it specifically does say that the county is gonna regulate, floodplain and on-site sewage. I think it says ETJ and the city. I don't think.
Within the city limits of Kingsbury and the ETJ.
Yes, that is for
shelter,
what?
the floodplain prevention.
Floodplain and
Uh-huh.
prevention, and the on-site sewage was in the
no
ETJ
plating.
and
Yeah,
within the
and
city.
on-site sewage is also.
But
within.
on the plating, it says ETJ only. And I was watching some YouTube
county
clips
is ETJ
about
only.
plating, because I still don't have a comfortable understanding of plating and subdivision, and I still don't have a grasp of why the city is left out, why the city has the authority to plat within its own city limits, and what is required of us to do that, because evidently we do. They didn't take it away on this interlocal. It's still,
But they didn't grant that either.
no, they can't. Evidently it's already granted to us. They have to, if there's a subdivision in our ETJ, they have to give us copies of the plating. They have to provide that to the city.
But then it doesn't say that if it's a development within the city limits, we have to provide the county with a
No,
copy of
we
the
get to
plan.
choose. I think, everything I've read, it says, we get to decide whether the plating is okay, or don't need one. I don't know that for sure, Sam. I'm not a lawyer and I'm not real smart.
Well, you're not a lawyer, but you're real smart.
Well-
So, yeah, I think where we were going with this was that, we talked about this in the last meeting. And you have to go back and look at the minutes, but I think we said, or my recommendation to the city is that we go negotiate a new agreement. And we take over as part of subdivision regulation and as part of zoning, if there's going to be such. That I think we should go at it to the county and say, we want to redo this agreement. We're going to take over all the responsibilities in our ETJ and our city limits of plating and subdivision regulation. And I would recommend that the city do so, first, that the Kingsbury ask its committee, the Kingsbury Development Committee, as part of this strategic plan, to develop a subdivision regulation plan, and if we're going to do some simple or limited type of zoning, that we should then have the Kingsbury Development Committee come up with a plan for you as a commission and say, this is what the contract should say. And then you as a commission say, okay, that's our plan. Now we contact the county and say, and it might be the legal department, it might be the planning department, but we contact them and say, this contract was renewed in and of itself, renews itself over and over again, but we talked about specifically
And that is what,
rescinding.
that is what Staples did.
Yes, you have to rescind, you go in and say, I decline to renew this contract.
Yeah.
Instead, county, here is my proposed contract. And then as if we want to keep anything, let them keep any of those, it would be in there, but otherwise it says the city is going to do its own platting, its own subdivision regulation. It's going to decide how much you can subdivide and when, and the city, both in the ETJ and in the city limits, and the city is also going to be responsible for any zoning of any land that is in there. Now, I recognize that the Kingsbury Development Committee has already said from its initial get-go that the people of this city do not relish the idea, and maybe don't even like the idea of zoning, but I think that that is an opinion of, with all due respect to our Kingsbury Development Committee, I think that it is necessary in this day and age, and we've reached the stage where if there are people coming in with mini storage outfits, and then they're going to come in with battery plants that are 65 Connex size batteries lined up next to somebody's house, or if somebody's going to come in here with an industrial project like data mining, which involves huge amounts of electricity and annoyance and nuisance to people and animals around it. With those kinds of things coming at us, and they are coming at us, it is time for this city to say, we're going to have some zoning. And maybe it's just that everybody here gets treated the same. We're all residential agriculture. And then we recognize the people that are already different. There's a cattle feedlot right down here, and there are some mini storage. But we say in there that if anybody's going to come in the future, they're not going to be zoned. There will be nothing in zoned industrial unless and we don't have to do it with David Baker's property because he's not in the city limit for Baker products. It's not in industrial. But if somebody comes in with one of them that I'm talking about, we would say, we will consider whether you're going to have a battery plant that brings a big economic benefit and jobs to us. But we are going to require that as a plat, you build it, and you're going to have 150 acres for that, or you're going to have 350 acres, and it has to be in the center of it. And we will control the building setback lines. And you will have to give us a plat that shows that you won't have any buildings or industrial facilities right next to a neighbor or a farm. And if you provide that, in case there can be chemicals, and high-tech chemicals are full of these battery and data mining, and there's selenium, there's heavy metals. And we say, you've got to plan for what if there is an explosion like the West Chemical Plant in West Texas that blew up, and the effect on everybody else. So you have to have a building setback, and you have to have an area where flood of your components will be trapped within the confines of your place. Things like that. I think we should anticipate, and I think that's what I think that's what you ought to either write up like that or ask your Kingsbury Development Committee to write up those kinds of things, and then we go to this and go take it to the county and say, we're starting from scratch, folks.
So one of the items, one of the goals, goal number 5, sustainable development, it actually covers land management, those types of things that would fall under that pillar within the strategic plan. I'm also having in there the rainwater collection harvest concept, as well as the cities looking to acquire land for city buildings. So those are also listed within that pillar 5 or goal 5 of sustainable development.
So if we do need to write up a contract, it's probably something that's wise to do soon. And I think everything you're talking about zoning wise, probably wise to do as soon as possible.
Oh, yeah, we can terminate this. I was gonna look for the date when we roll up to renewal, but we can terminate this contract at any time.
I think it's 6 months notice?
Yes,
I think it's.
I thought it was 60 days. But
Maybe it is 60 days.
We can terminate it, if you choose to do so.
So Shirley said that Staples did that, and they had, I saw in your hand, that they have one.
Yeah.
90 days.
That we can even look at
left
maybe
they
as
left
inspiration.
Everything with the county except for, this is just, they're interlocal, it's just a simple, the arrangement, blah, 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 the county shall be granted exclusive jurisdiction to regulate all subdivision plats and approve all related permits in the city's ETJ in accordance with the rules.
But we could say neither.
And then for any subdivision, and then the city is taking over within the city.
That's what we have
That-
already.
No, we don't have plating authority. We have
Where is it?
everything with the county. I believe.
Yeah, I think everything.
Yeah,
It is
everything's with
understood
the
that the
county.
county will be the exclusive authority for enforcing subdivision regulations and any and all other permitting that is required in the ETJ of the city.
Mm-hmm.
And in accordance with the rules applicable to subdivision plating adopted by the county.
Well, this
ETJ,
is also
it says in
for
the
any
ETJ.
subdivisions for which the city is the plating authority. So it's really
We are the plating,
defining.
I think we are the plating authority.
I think we are not.
Not within our ETJ, but within our city itself, I think we are. I don't, everything else says, the ETJ of the county shall, within the ETJ, here we go, within the city limits of Kingsbury and the ETJ shall continue, the county shall continue to administer and enforce on-site sewage facilities. Within the city limits of Kingsbury and the ETJ. Within the ETJ, the county shall assume responsibilities, maintenance of all public roads and streets, and all public drainage systems within any platted subdivision. Not us, the county will. Within the ETJ. Within the city, we will, won't we? Yeah, we have to maintain the roads.
Say that.
It says, no, it says
Oh,
the
or
county
maintenance
maintain
rights, yeah.
responsibility for streets and public streets and roads, drainage systems within any platted subdivision within the ETJ.
County.
The county will
And
assume
nothing-
maintenance.
Nothing anywhere in that contract says the city has any power to do anything.
No. The county will assume maintenance within the ETJ. They're not gonna assume maintenance within the city limits. They won't now, will they? They won't do
I
road
think they do.
maintenance.
And I think
No.
if you,
No.
We have to do, Jackson Road, a piece of Jackson Road?
Jackson Road,
And-
Brown Road.
No, but I'm talking about subdivision and subdivision regulation of in the city limits. It doesn't say. I mean, we have to take care of our streets.
Well, let's just, we need to rewrite it anyway, should
Yeah.
we?
Yeah, we can rewrite it anyway, but,
It's all
I mean, specify that excludes the city limits instead of just leaving it not included. The county will be the exclusive authority for enforcing subdivision regulations in the ETJ of the city. It does not address what within the city limits. So I'm assuming that the city still retains those rights. Either way, because we can resubmit our own proposal, but what is the city responsible under state law? We have to meet state law, right?
Cities are a subdivision of the state of Texas.
Right.
And therefore, and I think Guadalupe County probably thinks all the cities in Guadalupe County are subdivisions of the county, and so but that's not really, I don't think that's a clear statement of law.
Okay.
But because we are a subdivision of the state of Texas, cities are only granted the powers that the state actually grants them in writing, either in a charter or anywhere else, and they don't have any other power. And that's why the state right now is trying to stop Houston and San Antonio
That's right.
from having laws that are not consistent with state law. And they argue, the state does, that if we didn't grant it to you somewhere in writing, you don't have the power. And all I'm saying is, on that theory, we don't have any power under this agreement, even though you think we have, and we may argue, and I'll argue for you all the way, that we have retained right to control our own destiny and our city limits. But I don't think that's true under Texas law, if the state wants to disagree.
I'm just being curious here, because this is one thing I found.
And I don't mean to get so
No,
animated.
no. Animation is good.
Yeah.
You have any idea if the county's regulations, subdivision regulations, platting, on-site sewage, flood plain development, drainage, do you think any of them are different than what the state, minimum the state requires?
The county, I think, is different on some on the subdivision size. They're different than the state. The state, because I remember the lady from Guadalupe County that came to talk to us about this agreement.
Yeah.
She said in Guadalupe County you can subdivide. The state says minimum subdivision is 1/2 acre, and the county says it's 1 acre. I think that's what she said in 2017.
It's 1 acre, but there's also an exclusion for, there's an allowance for a 1/2 acre lot. I don't know if it's in this plan. I know I read it. I was surprised to see it, but there's another option. I think it has something to do with the sewage, on sewage, but I'm not sure. But I know 1 acre is standard answer.
Yes.
But I know I saw an exclusion or an exemption that allowed a 1/2 acre lot.
But even if you have a right to do it, you can go ahead and do it by ordinance, but you have to do an ordinance to establish that. And I just think that it might be better to terminate this agreement before you establish that ordinance. And that's why I think, we're sitting here talking about our, in my case, old men's memories from back in 2016. That's why we need a committee to formulate this and do all the hard work that Allison's talking about on grants. We have to do the same thing on zoning ordinances and subdivision, and we need to have our Kingsbury Development Committee or our city commission write up those ordinances and then say, this is the way we're doing it, and county, we rescind that agreement. And we will be responsible for all of that. And I would recommend that you take control of your ETJ.
Yes, I agree. Well, is this something that you and Nanette can work on?
Well, we have one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
certainly.
here's one other thing, just because this all comes down to I don't know why I care, because I won't be here to see it. My major concern, if we do take in control of our ETJ, now are we taking in the responsibility for maintenance of those roads?
Yes.
See? That's then.
So that's why those things you got to work out and think. It just like the ideal of the city of Kingsbury having actually no zoning, that's ideal, but it's not realistic.
And it's not realistic, I know that, but it's not.
So you're gonna
I
have to
don't-
be real selective of how you're
Okay.
gonna move forward.
I understand the zoning, and yes, because we want to reach a desired goal, and it's an attempt. Life doesn't turn out the way you think sometimes, but you make an attempt at it, you try. But we're still coming back to, I said, if we do the zoning, and then the next thing we're taking in the ETJ, now we're taking in roads, then we don't have to worry about, just encourage the hell out of everybody to petition the city and come on in and be part, in the city limits, be proud, but guess what? We're gonna tax the hell out of you to pay for the maintenance of those roads, and you're also gonna be complaining about one thing or another, and I understand, it's your money, Put it in the pot and we'll dish it out the best we can to meet everybody's needs.
Well, all this started with the one gentleman that had the excessive cost for splitting a one piece of property.
I know.
So we were just looking
I
at
know.
Yeah,
if we
that's-
took over
But it's-
plating authority.
Then we could, yes.
I mean,
Within
yeah,
the
why
city
do we have to
limits.
get rid of them taking care of our roads just because we want them, just because we want to take over the plating? I mean, why can't we keep part of the contract
Well,
and then just
I
say
would-
we would like to take control
well,
over?
I think as far as that point goes, the main point of contention with respect to taking over our roads would be the ETJ going to the east, because that's the only place there's any, well, I'm thinking out loud. All of the ETJ back here is behind my house. I go 150 feet from Highway 90 to into my property is the city limits. And then for a half a mile back there, behind it is ETJ, but there's no roads. So when we take over control of the ETJ behind all of these ranches and houses, there are not going to be any roads to take over unless we go down Kingsbury Road, and if we go Highway 90 to take over, and our ETJ is a half a mile, and we go down a half a mile on Highway 90, we don't have to take over that road either, because that's state responsibility.
Yes.
So I don't think that it's a practical impediment to us, to costly tax-wise, because we're really not taking over any major, substantial, different additional roads than we already have, aren't we?
If we take over, if we took ownership of the ETJ as we did, as if it was within the city limits, the road is the same, whether they're city or ETJ still. Gandersley Road that whole stretch of Gandersley Road becomes our maintenance problem. Right? Across the street from me, it's all ETJ.
Why would be taking over the roads if we're just taking over plating authority?
Well, no, we're talking about taking over full responsibility for the ETJ.
ETJ. Well, I've always said maybe we do need to really rethink that. I've always thought of on the ETJ, in fact, I thought we platted it out that way, that the ETJ going down Gandersley Road starts at your house and goes 150 feet, that's the city limits, and then back behind that is a half a mile of ETJ. But that ETJ is stopped, and maybe that's where I'm wrong. I thought it was stopped by that county road that we did not take over both sides of, and so across the street on Gandersley is not our ETJ. But I may be wrong.
No, it is.
It is ETJ.
If we really to the hypercritical, that 150-foot strip is on my place, and it is probably 60 feet from the road itself, maybe, I don't know, 30 feet from the road. It's somewhere. It's not outside my fence. It's all inside my fence. But from that line south is ETJ for half a mile. I've got from my city limit strip to the county road, over the county road, and continue. We go a half a mile.
Yeah, you're right.
We shouldn't I don't understand how, if we have a city limit on the other side of that county, Gandersley, we have that 150-foot strip there, why we would have the road too. But we don't own the property. I mean, our city limit is not, well, the ETJ is, see, but it's not, the city limit doesn't go into the county road at all. It doesn't front the county road.
No, because the state.
But if
law-
we had this property on the other side annexed in, that street, they would say that street road becomes ours. you know?
Because state law says that a road does not constitute your city limit. Well, it does if you do both sides. If you do not annex on both sides of the road, then the road is not part of your
Yeah.
city limits, and you are not responsible for maintaining it.
We annex.
But you're right about if we go and
On the road.
say, I'm gonna
But-
plat, I'm gonna control the platting in the ETJ, and if it's on the other side of Gander Slough, then you may be right. The county, once we do that, the county may say, well, then now you've got to maintain both of them. And that's why we did not want to take both sides originally, and
I think we need to go back.
Yeah.
Right.
to what we're trying.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you've gone way, way
We got-
too
yeah.
far down
We're
rabbit
kicking
hole.
up gravel here.
Right. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So,
Thank you.
I think at this point, we need to go back,
Do some reading and research.
do some reading and research, with, what.
Regarding-
Exactly what our interlocal says,
Okay.
what the Staples interlocal, because that's all they did. They had the same interlocal.
Yeah.
And all they did was
They just
take
took some
over
things
plat.
out.
They did take over platting.
They took over plat.
I guess I need to read theirs too.
Yeah,
Compared to ours.
I think, and I have that on the.
Yeah, it's on the,
Okay, and then,
And then I guess we
and
need
then.
to think, is that enough?
Yeah, we won't be
And
like
maybe-
guessing at what we're,
right,
what we're doing here.
compared to Staples.
Yeah. All right. Item number 14, discuss and consider potential citizens Kingsbury Bill of Rights for Kingsbury.
Nothing at this time.
Nothing at this point.
Can I ask
Okay.
a question?
Yes, ma'am.
What was the purpose, what was the purpose of the Bill of Rights for Kingsbury?
Can
Can we
we
go back to the Liberty City concept?
put this on,
And that was-
make sure this
that was
over
on
to
the
the next
original
agenda then.
legislation
You
that
don't have
was-
anything this time?
Incorporation,
Uh,
on the original.
Yeah,
incorporation?
Both.
definitely.
Well,
And
it's
the-
before
and
the
the
incorporation really, but, well, it was after the
And also,
incorporation. It's part
one
of,
thing,
before
I
and
would
during
like
and
a fall
after.
harvest discussion
There was
about
legislation to
insurance.
create a Liberty
That
City
needs to be figured
status.
out, 'cause,
And
yeah,
part of
we
that
have to get
legislation
insurance.
that they wrote
We'll
up
have to
had a Citizens Bill of Rights. Because the Liberty City was not a conventional
Right, okay.
city. And,
Curious.
and we've taken the mantle and we adopted a lot of the ideas and the thoughts and heart of a Liberty City concept, but we didn't have that,
So are you looking to draft the Bill of Rights for?
kinda. But it's gonna be a set of
Okay.
ordinances, but yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Thank you.
So we asked Jessica to include that in next.
Okay.
All right, item number 15, we will recess our regular commission meeting. Recess. And this point, we'll enter into executive session. So anybody not involved with the city council and legal, we can exit to another room, or if you're going
Well, y'all
to,
wanna stay? If we're gonna come back, we're gonna be open session
we
again.
can go into the,
Yeah, your lawyer stays, I'm the only one that, me and Danny are the only one that gotta go.
Well, we
I
can
mean,
meet, we can go to the
we
office.
can go to another location, either or.
Recess, so we'll be back.
We'll be back.
Okay,
Our
last
hippie-
part
our
of the
hippie city
meeting
lawyer with
here.
his ponytail
I
time to get to
know.
the door there.
Love it.
All right, we're back from executive session.
Yes.
Now I'm lost.
At this point, yes, we are reconvening our regular commission meeting, and we're allowing,
Here comes the public.
Public's coming back
public-
in.
The public's coming, the public's coming.
for just a quick,
Hello, public.
Did it rain? Did it rain?
Anything exciting happen out there?
Cold front?
not even close. Okay, so we're down to item number 18, discuss and consider possible real estate acquisition. Sponsor is Frank, so you want to,
Well, you go ahead. You were here.
all right. I was
Tell
here.
them what we did.
Okay, so at this point, we are going to continue negotiations regarding a real estate acquisition. And that's it. We're continuing to negotiate.
And we're
are-
gonna get an inspector.
We're gonna actively-
Yeah, we're gonna get an inspection.
We'll make an
of
appointment
property.
privately with said,
Yes. So, that's this we are continuing to pursue. And at this time, we will adjourn.
Thank you.
thank you guys.
Thank
This
you.
is